Thank you very much for attending this online webinar. The talk today is on portable radar sensors for live activity sensing and localization. My name is Changji Li from Texas Tech University.
This is the outline of my presentation today. I'm gonna start from basics of portable interferometry and FMCW mode of radar sensors for modern live activity sensing and human-aware localization. I'll talk about sensing system integration at different frequencies, and then I'll focus on two techniques that really makes portable radar sensor better than before. So one is digital beamforming, RF beamforming. Another one is nonlinear detection. Okay, and finally, I'll briefly mention some more applications that is not only on human but on other things. To begin with, I'm gonna play with, a short video taken on my daughter when she was 1 year old. So one day I brought a sensor device, radar sensor device home, and after my daughter Chloe went to sleep, I placed the radar sensor on the crib, and the sensor was pointing towards her. And on the other side, I have a laptop grabbing the data, displaying the data in real time. So as you can see, the sensor can pick up her respiration and heartbeat activity. The top curve shown over there on the laptop was time domain signal, and the bottom one was the spectrum. So basically, with the motion sensor today, it is possible to monitor live activities. And the theory behind that is quite straightforward. So what happens is that we have a radio frequency transceiver over there sending out a radio frequency signal that is not modulated. Over there, T of t represents the transmitted signal, and F is the carrier frequency. The signal is not modulated at all. Once the signal hits a human subject, it's going to be bounced back. So the received signal definitely will have a delay compared with the transmitted signal. Because of the physiological motion, respiration, and heartbeat, this delay will be modulated by this motion x of t. So as you can see on the receiver side, the received signal has a carrier frequency, has a delay due to the nominal distance between the human subject and the transceiver, as well as the motion x of t. Okay? So on the receiver side, if we have a mixer to compare the transmitted signal with the received signal, we can actually cancel out the carrier frequency. If we have a quadrature system to produce quadrature output INQ channels, then on your INQ channels, you are going to expect cosine and sine function, and what is modulating this function is really the motion x of t. So if everything goes well, we can actually demodulate the signal based on different algorithm, let's say arctangent signal demodulation, complex signal demodulation, to get information of the physiological motion. Okay? However, in reality, the system is more complicated. You're going to suffer from a little bit of amplitude modulation on the signal. You are also going to have DC offsets added to the two channels. So over the past decade, there had been a lot of research efforts how to perfectly remove DC offsets, estimate DC offsets, how to get rid of the imbalance in the two channels, and eventually how to maximize the sensitivity to detect physiological signal. For that, this type of detection, we actually call it vital Doppler, because the effect is created by vital activity, vital signs, and it's similar to Doppler effect that police officers use to detect the speed of us driving a car, but it's different. In the case of a car, it's moving in one dimension, creating a large Doppler. But in this case, vital sign detection, we are looking at a target moving back and forth, and the small motion creates a very small phase modulation. Okay? Another aspect of motion detection for human application is Micro-Doppler. So Micro-Doppler refers to the Doppler effect created by limb motion, my hand movement, my foot movement, and the body motion. Okay? And on this page, we have two examples of Micro-Doppler detection. In the first example, we had a human standing there at first, and we had the radar set up in front of this human subject. So this person first sit down and then raise hand, put down hand, raise hand, put down hand twice. On the right-hand side, we have a very classic plot representation of the signal. We call it spectrogram. Basically, the y-axis represents Doppler frequency created by motion, and the x-axis is time. So as you can see, as time goes by, we have signatures observed on this spectrogram. First, when the person sits down, the body is going to move a little bit away from the radar in front of it. Because of that, we have a negative Doppler. But in the meantime, the head actually moves forward, leans forward. So we have a weaker positive Doppler observed at the same time. When the person moved hand like that twice, basically you can generate a negative Doppler, a positive Doppler for the first movement, and for the second movement, you're going to see another negative, another positive. And on the bottom side, we have a similar example, but a bigger scale motion. So this person actually walked away from radar-generated negative Doppler, and then pulled hands twice. We got two signatures over there, and then the person walked back towards the radar. Okay? So as we can imagine, coupled with advanced signal processing, for example, machine learning, it is possible by looking at the radar detect signal to guess or to identify what kind of life activity the person was performing. Okay? Based on similar concept, the industry is actually making a lot of efforts. So here shows an example. This is done by Google, and they established a team called Google Soli. And their idea is they're going to use 60 gigahertz or even higher frequency millimeter wave radar with very high resolution to look at the hand movement, the movement of fingers. And based on that, they are trying to identify different gestures and use that to remotely control small device or smart devices. And recently it was reported that in the upcoming version of Pixel phone, Google Pixel 4, they actually integrated this radar sensor there. And their phone can actually allow users to control the smartphone without touching it. And we hope that that is true. And on the other side, semiconductor companies are making a lot of great efforts integrating radar sensors into small form devices to facilitate multiple applications. For example, during the past 2 years in International Microwave Symposium, Texas Instruments demonstrated their 77 gigahertz radar for drone application, drone navigation, IoT application, and healthcare application. Infineon had a 60 gigahertz radar demonstrated. On the lower left side shows the demonstration. So the radar was set over there, connected with the Samsung tablet through USB cable, and on site, their engineers can train visitors within 1 minute how to control this tablet, simply use gestures remotely. And you can play music, you can play back, play forward, volume up, volume down. And most of the people can master that within 1 minute. Analog device had their 24 and 77 gigahertz radar demonstrated for autonomous driving application as well as healthcare application. Shown on the right-hand side, lower right-hand side, this is their demonstration of 24 gigahertz radar for vital sign detection. So as we have seen, people are pushing the frequency to